The stars were quiet that night, unusually quiet for the nebula expanse. In the dim glow of scattered asteroids, Lyra then maneuvered her salvage vessel, the Drift, through the wreckage of what had once been a colony freighter. Her ship creaked as it pushed against the gravity tug of a nearby asteroid belt. She liked the solitude of space, the hum of her engine, the way the darkness seemed to absorb her worries. But today, something felt different, an unshakable tension in the air. Lyra scanned the debris field with her sensors, detecting scattered energy signatures. Nothing extraordinary at first glance. Just the remnants of a failed cargo vessel, drifting silently for decades. But then she noticed something odd, a faint pulse emanating from deep within the wreckage, rhythmic and deliberate, almost like a heartbeat. Curiosity overrode caution. Lyra suited up, grabbed her plasma cutter and a tether line, and entered the derelict. The corridors were twisted, the walls scorched with old burn marks, and the air smelled of ionized metal. As she moved further inside, the pulse grew stronger. Finally, she reached a small chamber, half collapsed, illuminated by flickering lights. And that's when she saw him. Tall, armored in blackened alloy that shimmered with an almost liquid sheen, the figure was unmistakable. Kale Draven, known across the galaxy as the deadliest warrior alive. He had survived wars no one dared to mention, destroyed fleets single-handedly, and had a bounty on his head so massive it would bankrupt entire star systems. And yet, here he was, leaning against a wall, one hand pressed to his chest, breathing heavily. Lyra froze. She'd heard legends of Kale Draven, how he obliterated entire battalions with a flick of his wrist, how no one had ever bested him in combat. And yet he looked vulnerable. "I'm not here to fight," Kale rasped, his voice deeper than she expected. "I need help." Lyra hesitated, weighing her options. Helping him could be a death sentence, or the adventure of a lifetime. She chose the latter. "You've come to the wrong salvage ship," she said cautiously, "but I guess that's all you've got now." Kale smirked faintly, though it didn't reach his eyes. "Maybe that's true, but you're here. That's enough." Over the next few hours, Lyra patched him up as best she could. His armor had been mangled, his energy shields depleted. He barely spoke, but she noticed the subtle ways he analyzed her, watching her hands, noting her quick improvisations, recognizing skill when he saw it. When he could finally stand, Kale surveyed the wreckage outside. "They're looking for me," he muttered. "They never give up." "Who?" Lyra asked. "The Syndicate. They've spent years trying to capture or kill me, and now they've escalated." Lyra frowned. The Syndicate wasn't just dangerous. They were legendary for eliminating anyone who stood in their way. Ordinary mercenaries, space pirates, and even rogue admirals feared them. "So, why did you come here? Why a salvage pilot?" Kale's piercing gaze met hers. "Because I need someone unpredictable. Someone the Syndicate wouldn't expect. That's you." Lyra laughed, half in disbelief. "Me? I scavenge broken ships for a living. I'm not exactly intergalactic special ops." "That's exactly why," Kale said. "Predictability is death in war. I need someone who can think outside the battlefield. Someone clever." The next day, they set out on a journey through the expanse. Lyra piloted the Drift, navigating asteroid fields and derelict stations while Kale briefed her on the threat. The Syndicate had dispatched a fleet to hunt him down, a small task force with destroyers, assassins, and elite pilots. No ordinary ship could survive them. But Lyra had a different skill set. Her knowledge of wreckage and salvage tech gave her an unconventional advantage. She rigged the ship with hidden turrets scavenged from old warships, concealed mines, and automated drones that could intercept targeting signals. Kale observed silently, impressed with her ingenuity. By the time night fell on the expanse's shadowed edge, they were ready. Kale looked at Lyra, armor glinting under the faint starlight. "You're full of surprises," he admitted. Lyra smirked. "Don't get sentimental. You're supposed to be the one teaching me survival, remember?" He chuckled, a rare, low sound. Perhaps survival has more than one teacher. The attack came at dawn. Sensor alarms blared as a syndicate squadron appeared, sleek black ships cutting through the void. Kale's hand rested on his weapon, but Lyra already had a plan. She activated a series of electromagnetic pulses, disrupting enemy targeting systems, while launching decoy drones to scatter the attackers. Kale moved with lethal precision, striking from the shadows of the debris. He was a whirlwind of motion, every strike calculated, every enemy eliminated in seconds. Yet it was Lyra's ingenuity that allowed them to survive. Her traps, drones, and improvisations bought him the openings he needed to unleash his unparalleled combat skills. By the time the battle ended, the Syndicate ships were either destroyed or retreating in disarray. Kale had survived against impossible odds, but he hadn't done it alone. He turned to Lyra, her hair disheveled, hands smudged with grease, eyes shining with adrenaline. "I underestimated you," he said, almost grudgingly. "I thought I needed soldiers. I didn't realize I needed a scavenger." Lyra raised an eyebrow. "A warrior needs help surviving. Even the deadliest one. Kale nodded slowly. Even the deadliest. There's a reason I chose you. Over the next few weeks, Kale and Lyra became an unstoppable team. They moved from one sector to another, evading the syndicate and dismantling threats with a combination of raw combat skill and creative problem-solving. Along the way, Kale began to reveal pieces of his past, the countless battles, the betrayals, the losses. Lyra listened without judgment, absorbing the weight of a life forged in war. One night, anchored near a gas giant, Lyra asked the question she'd been holding back. Why me really? There must be others, fighters, soldiers, assassins, who would follow your lead. Kale stared at the swirling clouds of the gas giant, shadows flickering across his face. Because others fight for glory, for orders, for rewards. You fight because you survive, because you adapt, because you care enough to see possibilities where others see only danger. That's rare. Lyra swallowed hard. So, you think I'm rare? Kale's gaze softened just enough for her to see it. In a galaxy full of warriors and killers,